webs to fire up all across the food plain. We should be live on Twitter today. We're here to talk about the Trump rape hoax. Not a day probably goes by, folks, that I don't see this. This is an older tweet, but I wanted to do it so you could see the verdict. But folks, the left claims almost daily on Twitter that Trump raped E. Jean Carroll. And here's a good example here. It's a way back. Rapist Trump now has 3 days in which to pay E. Jean Carroll the $83 million he owes her. Now, I responded to Brooklyn Dad. Brooklyn Dad's one of these deep staters, has like 1 million followers that you can tell is completely manufactured. Here's the actual verdict form that the jury did. You'll notice here, did Miss Carroll prove by a preponderance of the evidence that Trump raped Carroll? You see the no there, right? The no. It could not be bigger. No. Then the second one was, did he sexually abuse her? They found it yes. Okay. Now, how is it if the jury found it no? How is it that the judge and other people can go around saying this? Well, it's easy. It's a hoax. And I'm going to break it down for you. It's a big hoax, too. It has so many elements to it, it's really hard to believe, folks. Anyway, welcome to Gamecast. If you enjoy this commentary, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really does help content creators out. Folks, here's how it started. I want you to listen to her. Listen. This is E. Jean Carroll describing just 2 days ago her listening to the verdict when it came out. Take a listen.
They came in, the judge said, have you, Andy, the clerk, read the judgment, read the questions. Have you, the first thing was the sexual assault. And the first question, did he rape E. Jean? The jury came back and said, no, he didn't.
Said no. Anyway, so why in the world was this even brought? First and foremost, the beginning of the hoax, folks, all right, is there's no tort of rape, right? I mean, I'm the great American male. I've been practicing law for 30 years. There is no tort. There is a tort, as you see here. Rape or sexual abuse is a classic intentional tort. A civil suit against the assailant can be brought under theories of assault, battery, false imprisonment, or intentional infliction of emotional stress. It cites, if you go to the site, which I did, it goes to the Restatement of Torts, which is basically just a common law of torts wrapped up into one book. If you go to law school, you study it a lot, right? And it basically explains here that battery is the intentional touching of another. Assault is putting a person under fear of an incoming battery, right? So intentional means you have to show that they meant to do it. So if I stumble into you and I make contact, I didn't intend to do it. It doesn't work there. So there is no tort of rape. Why would the judge allow that to happen? Because he's a fascist. It's just that simple. It should have been dismissed. It should have been, did you find that Trump assaulted Carroll? But it's all made up. But there's a bigger problem. What is the statute of limitations in New York for assault and battery, which this is, as you can just see? Why, it's 1 year. 5 years if it's criminal, right? But 1 year if it's civil. So how in the world was E. Jean Carroll able to bring a lawsuit about something that happened in 1996 in the 20s, in the 2020s, huh? Well, let's explain it here.
Really important in all of this, and it's the fact that New York passed this law.
Yeah.
The Adult Survivors Act. They passed it just a few years ago. Were it not for that law, you never would have been able to.
So New York literally passed a law that said for 1 year, any quote-unquote survivor can bring a lawsuit, civil lawsuit. They just completely rewrote the law to get Trump. Simple, right? Crazy. But it has to be worse than that. The Trump judge, and here he is, Lewis Kaplan. He's a Clinton appointee. He's an absolute fascist. That wasn't good enough for him. So Trump is found not to have raped her, but to have sexually assaulted her, right? Well, what does Kaplan do? He's not upset with that. He's upset with that. Here is Democrat Ted Lieu on the floor. Trump makes a motion for a new trial. Judge denies it. And for no reason at all, he could have just said denied. He didn't do that. Listen to Ted Lieu tell you what Kaplan had to say.
On July 19th, 2023, federal judge Lewis Kaplan rejected Donald Trump's request for a new trial and confirmed that Donald Trump raped E. Jean Carroll. I'm going to submit this court ruling into the congressional record, and now I'm going to read you what the judge found. On page 43, the judge wrote, Ms. Carroll testified that the sexual assault, the rape, of which she accused Mr. Trump, involved especially painful, forced digital penetration.
Anyway, he goes on and says that several times. It's just complete fascists making up things that aren't true. And why did he do it? Because judges get attention for doing things like that. They get rewarded, and the Democrat judges do it all the time. One other reason I'll leave you with, and then I got to wrap it up. Trump sued later because George Stephanopoulos, based on the lie the judge said, was asking Nancy Mace in an interview, what about the Trump rape? What about the Trump rape? He knew it was a lie. He knows what I just told you. He knows this whole hoax is crazy. But that's one of the reasons the judge did it. One, so people can smear it and continue to say rape, even though the hoax that they completely manufactured, they couldn't get the jury to do it. The judge just lied about it. And it also now, as you'll see here, is one of the reasons that Trump probably can't bring defamation claims, is because people are going to point to that judge. Anyway, if you enjoyed this commentary, please like, subscribe, comment, and follow me. And I hope to see you on the next one.